Woolly mammoth.
39,000-year-old female mammoth, found in the Siberian wilderness. Body was so well preserved that hair, muscle and tissue were still visible and scientists were able to draw vials of the animal's blood.
It is the first time we managed to obtain mammoth blood. No one has ever seen before how the mammoth's blood flows. Scientists in South Korea recently announced that, thanks to DNA from yucca, they now have a high chance of cloning a mammoth, thus resurrecting the species from extinction. Otzi the Mummy. A hiking duo in the Otzi Alps stumbled across the extremely well-preserved remains of a man's body sticking out of the frozen terrain. At the time, the hikers thought the corpse might have been from a recently deceased climber lost to the treacherous mountainside. The two snapped a photo of the remains and trudged down the mountain to report their find. Soon thereafter, it became abundantly clear that the remains were not recent at all. After radiocarbon dating, scientists determined that the mummified man was actually more than 5,000 years old. The discovery was the first of its kind. Never before had scientists recovered a completely intact corpse from that time period. Scientists suspected foul play when it came to the Otzi's death. The ancient man's stomach contained the undigested remains of his last meal, indicating that he died rather abruptly. X-rays later revealed a flint arrowhead lodged in the Iceman's left shoulder, confirming suspicions. Otzi had been murdered more than 5,000 years ago. A giant virus. Scientists recently discovered a 30,000-year-old giant virus found in the permafrost in Kolyma in the far east of Russia.
Scientists will tell you that the virus infects only single-cellular organisms, or amoebas, and not humans or other animals, but that doesn't do much to assuage fears of an ancient viral outbreak.
The discovery opens up the possibility that mankind could discover more viruses, previously thought lost to humanity, locked deep within the Earth. And those future finds just might not be limited to single-cellular organisms. An ancient forest. The ancient remains of a forest, branches, roots and all, have crept from beneath the ice, much to the bemusement of scientists. Researchers at the University of Alaska Southeast determined that the plant life, which astonishingly stands upright, is anywhere from 1,200 to 2,350 years old. The scientists hope that as the glacier continues to melt, as it will reveal more of the ancient forest beneath. And that's a sad, but exciting reality. Since 2005, the Mendenhall Glacier has receded by an average of 170 feet per year, opening the possibility that in the very near future we might have an ancient national park on our hands. A really old sweater. Melting snow on Norway's Lenbreen Glacier provided a rare glimpse into Iron Age fashion when researchers discovered a finely woven tunic more than 6,500 feet above sea level in 2011. After 2 years of analysis, researchers from the University of Oslo, Norway, and the Norwegian University of Science and Technology in Trondheim determined the garment was made between 230 and 390 AD, more than 1,500 years ago. Due to global warming, rapid melting of snow patches and glaciers is taking place in the mountains of Norway as in other parts of the world, and hundreds of archaeological finds emerge from the ice each year. Mountain range. Look at the ice sheets that cover much of Antarctica and you might assume Antarctica is pretty cold, pretty boring, and, above all, flat. But buried beneath that boring ice is a mountain range. Scientists have known about the Gamburtsev Mountains for around 50 years. Since the range is buried under about a mile of ice, it's not surprising we don't know too much about it. According to Live Science, it's only recently that advances in imaging technology have allowed us to get a peek under the ice. And imagine the surprise when scientists found a series of mountains with peaks up to 10,000 feet high sprawling across 750 miles. And they've also detected magnetic anomalies that suggest this hidden mountain range might be made of billion-year-old rock that was lifted into craggy peaks between 250 and 100 million years ago. Old lake filled with life. In 2012, Russian scientists drilled through more than 2 miles of ice into something strange buried deep beneath the frozen landscape of Antarctica. The exact opposite of ice. Lake Vostok is the continent's biggest subglacial lake, which sounds like something that shouldn't exist. Even weirder, the research team that pulled samples from the lake found alien life. According to the BBC, Lake Vostok has existed in complete isolation for millions of years, and when scientists analyzed the samples they found bacteria that was completely unlike the bacteria we're familiar with. In 2016, new scientists announced there's another lake buried under the Antarctic ice sheet, similarly isolated and similarly containing the potential to harbor life forms unlike anything else on Earth. Prehistoric discovery of the woolly rhino. When you think of rhinos, you don't typically think of them with hair. 34,000-year-old well-preserved woolly rhino from Ice Age found in Siberia. It had scientists scratching their heads. The preserved prehistoric creature was found by hunters traveling the Siberia in 2014. Sasha is one of the only woolly rhinos to be discovered, and in this good of shape. This particular rhino was thought to be around 18 months old. The last of this species was thought to have died out around 10,000 years ago. Ancient species of plants unearthed in ice. Siberia is known as one of the coldest places on Earth. Scientists have recently uncovered several plant species never known to man, in the depths of the permafrost. It was discovered in 2012 that a squirrel burrowed a plant known as plasticine. These plants are roofly 30,000 years old.